Have you ever wondered why a person we are used to seeing as kind and decent can one day do something that shatters all our ideas about them? Why someone who has always helped others can suddenly show cruelty, indifference, or even commit brutal acts? History and psychology show us again and again. Between good and evil, there isn't a thick wall, but a thin and fragile line. We like to think that bad people are born evil and good people stay good forever. But the truth is far more unsettling. Almost any one of us under certain circumstances can cross that line. One of the most famous experiments in psychology is the Stanford Prison Experiment conducted by Philip Zimbardo in 1971. Students were randomly divided into guards and prisoners in an artificial prison setting. No one taught them to be cruel or submissive. They were simply playing roles. But within a few days, the guards began showing aggression, while the prisoners fell into stress and submission. The experiment had to be stopped early. It clearly demonstrated how situations and roles can change a person beyond recognition. But Zimbardo wasn't the first to notice this. In the 1960s, psychologist Stanley Milgram studied obedience. He discovered that most participants were willing to deliver electric shocks to another person, in reality an actor, just because a scientist in a white coat told them to. It's astonishing how quickly authority can replace an inner conscience. These studies contain a key to understanding human nature. Ordinary people without any innate malice find themselves drawn into systems where they stop thinking for themselves. They begin to obey roles, norms, and orders, and gradually personal responsibility fades. History is full of tragic confirmations of this. Nazi concentration camps were not run by mythical monsters, but by ordinary men and women. People who read fairy tales to their children at home took part in monstrous crimes at work. How could this be possible? One reason is the process of dehumanization. Once someone is labeled enemy, parasite, or inferior, it becomes easier to justify cruelty. When another person is no longer seen as an individual with feelings and dreams, conscience steps aside. We like to think that in the modern world we are free from such traps. But if we look closely, we see the same mechanisms at work around us every day. At work, we follow orders, even if they seem unjust. On social media, we slap on labels, dismissing others' opinions and turning them into opponents. In schools or families, we follow rules without questioning whether they are right or wrong. This doesn't always lead to catastrophe, but it creates fertile ground for moral decay. It often begins with small concessions, staying silent when someone is hurt, doing what we're told to avoid standing out, excusing our inaction by saying, "It's not my problem." These small steps pave a slippery road toward much graver actions. This raises an important question. Is it even possible to resist these forces? The answer is yes, though it is not easy. The first step is awareness. We must learn to notice when we start justifying something that goes against our values. In psychology, this is called moral vigilance. We catch ourselves thinking everyone does it, or there's no other way. We should stop and ask, is this really right, or am I just looking for an excuse? The second step is empathy. When we truly see other people as individuals, with their fears, hopes, and feelings, it becomes much harder to harm them. Art, literature, stories, all these cultivate empathy and break down the barriers of us versus them. The third step is moral courage. It is far easier to remain silent than to go against the system or the majority. But those who dare to say no, even at the risk of their position or safety, become agents of change. History remembers individuals whose actions inspired entire generations, from Rosa Parks to human rights activists exposing injustice. Finally, the fourth step is self-reflection. None of us is perfect. There are times when we give in, make mistakes, or compromise. But the key is not to get stuck in guilt, but to acknowledge our failures, learn from them, and move forward. Self-forgiveness allows growth instead of drowning in the past. And yet the main insight is this: the line between good and evil does not run between nations, countries, or social groups. It runs through the heart of every person. Each of us has a shadow, those sides of ourselves we rarely want to acknowledge. But denying it only increases the risk that one day it will break free. On the contrary, if we are willing to recognize our dark side, we gain the chance to master it instead of obeying it. Think about it. Have there been moments in your life when anger, envy, or fear pushed you into actions you later regretted? Those moments remind us that the darkness within us is real. But it is precisely this awareness that gives us strength. Because by understanding our vulnerability, we can consciously choose the light. Here another important idea emerges: heroic imagination. Zimbardo described it as the ability to imagine yourself as a hero in everyday life. A hero is not someone with superpowers. A hero is an ordinary person who, in a critical moment, chooses to do the right thing. It may be something small, standing up for someone being bullied, siding with the truth even when it's inconvenient, helping someone in distress. These small acts accumulate into a culture that resists moral decline. Consider Oskar Schindler. He was far from an ideal figure, and at first he was motivated by profit. But in the horrors of World War II, he chose to save lives, ultimately rescuing more than 1,000 people. His story shows that no one is too small or too ordinary to change the course of events. The same is true for us. We may never face extreme historical circumstances, but every day we make choices that shape the environment around us. Will we nurture respect, justice, and compassion, or silently support indifference, cruelty, and injustice? And here is the main conclusion. Resisting the Lucifer effect is only possible consciously. We must remember that evil rarely comes with a loud call. More often, it begins in silence, with our willingness to look away. But precisely here lies our power, to tell ourselves, I can choose differently. Each of us bears responsibility not only for our own actions, but also for the atmosphere we create around us. Every word, every gesture is a contribution, either to division or to unity, to indifference or to compassion. The world today is full of challenges, but it is also full of opportunities. And if we remember that the line between good and evil runs through ourselves, we can choose, again and again, every day, to be a source of light. So the question is simple. The next time you face a moral choice, will you give in to circumstances, or will you be the one who says no to the darkness? The answer depends only on you.